Good evening, Drew.
Oh man, is it time for Paul's computer corner? What happened, buddy?
So, I use I record on my Mac, and I use a tool called Audio Hijack to do my recording. So not only do I record my mic, but I also record our Skype phone call just in case something weird happens. And it's a great piece of software. It's by Rogue Amoeba. I've had this happen exactly one other time, but I go to hit the record button, and it's like, hey, I got to update a bunch of stuff. You want me to record Skype? And then it just doesn't, and it doesn't record anything unless I let it do its thing. And sometimes it just went a little wonky, and then I updated the components, but then Skype wouldn't shut down. Wouldn't even let me force quit it.
Woof.
So then I had to reboot, and but everything, we're all better now. It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good. Man, we have a lot to talk about.
We're just full of content.
Full bursting of content today. But I'm going to go ahead and make this a Paul sandwich, where Drew's going to talk about something terrible that happened, and then Drew's going to need Paul's advice on something at the end of the show.
Okay.
So, Paul, I'm just going to ask you a question. When it rains, where does the water go?
Wherever it wants, I think, is the answer to the question. Wherever it's supposed to go.
Yeah, I feel like as long as man has crawled out of their caves, we have struggled against the elements. We have dammed rivers, and we have put things in the sky where we're not supposed to be. And we've done an incredible job of defying the laws of physics and nature, just because, we're just a species that enjoys waving our middle fingers at everything. If you live in a house that was built in at least the previous 2 centuries, you have things on your house called gutters. And
I do.
And
yes,
yeah,
gutters.
And gutters are designed to help manage the flow of water off of your roof. And it's a pretty ingenious thing where rain comes out of the sky and it lands on your roof, and the gutters are at edges of your roof to catch and then channel that water to downspouts, which are essentially gutters that are up and down instead of side to side. That water goes down that, and then they go into holes in the ground called drains. And those drains are designed to carry the water away from your house where it could do damage and just generally not supposed to be, and out to a road, to a cistern, to a drain, to just somewhere that isn't where you don't want it. So, we bought a new house last year, and it's a bigger house. It has a much bigger piece of land. And, my last house, we never really had any major problems or anything. But I remember there were a couple falls where if I really wasn't super diligent about cleaning my gutters, turns out that leaves and other debris, sometimes screwdrivers, that's not a joke, end up in your downspouts, and they cause water to back up and then overflow your gutters, and then that sits next to your house. Sometimes your basement wall might get damp. For us, our biggest issue was we had a really old cellar window that was like probably original to the house when it was built. And it was like a wood frame window, and it was in a window well. And if the water overflowed the gutters, the water basically collected in that window well and then just leaked through the window. And that was never a good time. I ended up having to have like a glass block window put in, and that was the year. That was the year Drew became a homeowner and figured out, like, hey, you need a ladder, and you need to clean your gutters, and you need gutter guards, and yeah, that was like my coming of age story. But those experiences taught me a lot, and at the house we're in now, I make it a point to clean the gutters. Like, I go up there, I get on my ladder. I hate heights, but I get up on the ladder anyway, and I clean the gutters. And this house doesn't have nearly the amount of trees around it that my other house does. So I was not at all shocked when I was, come fall, when the leaves were pretty much all off the trees. I got up there and I was looking at my gutters, and everything, I barely saw any leaves. Like, I had to just get a little bit out. I was like, this is awesome. Like, I don't really have to spend all day doing this. Like, I just did a quick inspection and everything looked good. So fall came and went. Winter came and sort of went. We're in that weird kind of stage of Ohio where we're not really sure what season it is right now.
Yeah, fall, spring.
Yeah. And we had a pretty decent amount of snow this year. And after the last big snow thaw, I noticed that there was like a lot of water, like from the snow melting on my front walk. And I thought to myself, well, we had a lot of snow. It probably was just snow melting and didn't really have anywhere to go. And then we had some really, really heavy rain this past weekend. And I went outside and there was like a lake in front of my house. Like all around my front walk, there was probably 2 or 3 inches of water. And I looked at that and I said, uh-oh. And I went out to my garage and I basically got a bucket and I just started bailing out my rockway. And then I sort of started walking around and I'm like, well, what the heck is happening here? And I noticed that all around my downspouts on the one side of the house, all the soil was sort of eroded away and water was kind of pooling around there. The good news is that particular corner of the house is just all crawl space, and there wasn't like any water that got in the like the part of my basement that I care about. But I'm sure that those walls got wet in that crawl space, even though they're like insulated and covered in insulation. I'm sure that there was probably water up against those walls. And at some point, I will be brave enough to crawl into that crawl space and take the insulation off the walls and probably spray, or not spray, but at least check out just to see if there's any like mildew back there or anything like that. I mean, who knows? That was really crappy. So I called a company to come out, and it's a company that I've worked with before who had helped me with some gutter issues and things. And they came out and they ended up having to like dig up some of my drains. And yeah, one of the drains was completely clogged up. But we're not sure why, because there were leaves and there was like it was like debris in it. But I told him, I'm like, look, I cleaned that out. I didn't really see anything up there. And we had rain up until the winter, right? In the fall, we had rain and everything seemed pretty good. I didn't really notice anything. And this company had previously like put those little cameras on the wires into my gutters to like figure out, where are these gutters going? Are they in good shape? Are the drains okay? And they had all said it was all good. So I didn't really think anything of it. But yeah, I went out to this one corner of my house and like I could see the water like kind of seeping up over where the downspout goes into the drain. And yeah, it was just really bad. There was like just pools of water everywhere. So they had to like dig it up. The guy couldn't even like unjam it. Like his snake, like the snake he brought, apparently couldn't even get through it. It was really backed up. And they ended up having to like cut part of my drain and replace it. Yeah, it was a whole thing. So yeah, I found out where the water goes.
Not where you want it to go.
Water's going to go wherever it wants to go is the final answer.
Yeah, that is true.
So I'm here to tell you, not only do you have to clean your gutters, you should probably like stick a hose down your downspout and just flush that shit out a couple times a year. So that is my public service announcement, and really set the pace for what has just been a hellacious week. Because that all happened over the weekend and early on Monday and Tuesday. So how was your week?
So far, so good. Yeah. Not a lot going on this week.
No.
Which is nice.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about nerd stuff. So we haven't done this in a while. No. We not talk about nerd stuff, but we haven't talked about Apple stuff in a while.
That is true.
Yep.
They announced some things.
They announced some things. They had an event this week. We're recording this on the 10th. I think the Apple event was on Tuesday?
It was. Yep. The Peak Performance event.
The Peak Performance event. And boy, oh boy, there were some really, really cool things here. So why don't you tackle these? Like,
where do you want to start?
I want to know of like, okay. Insider info here. On the document this week, we basically have 4 main points.
Uh-huh.
Which one of these are you most excited about?
Man, uh, you know what? Let's get the easy one out of the way before we get into the meat.
All right.
Let's get the M1 iPad Air out of the way.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to buy this tomorrow.
Yeah, man, I think when I talked about buying my last iPad, I think we both sort of knew there was going to be an M1 iPad Air at some point. Boy, this thing looks super cool. It's not a mini, which I like the size of mine, but this thing looks dope.
It does look dope. My daughter has, I guess, the previous version of the iPad Air. I was looking at it. I think it's a good size. I've been looking for an upgrade. Obviously, I have the 12.9 big boy right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the smaller form factor would be good. I'm planning on getting cellular. My thought is like, if I ever like travel or do stuff, I could literally just throw this in my bag and not have to take a laptop or anything. I could just have this, because in a pinch I can do my entire job, my quote unquote job, from an iPad. So I'm excited. I think I haven't quite decided yet, but I am going to make sure that I'm at a computer tomorrow at 8:00 in the morning. By the time everyone hears this, it's already going to be on sale, and I'm sure shipping dates are going to be ridiculous. But I think I'm going to buy a blue one.
A blue one, okay.
A blue one.
Blue one. Now,
blue one.
Now, obviously, they made the jump to the M1, which is great. That's super cool.
Yes.
But here's something I'm wondering. Previously, were you able to get a Magic Keyboard or a Folio keyboard for the Air?
Yes. Yeah.
You were? Okay. Because I know for the Mini you can't. And the Magic Keyboard looks really interesting. I don't know if you have one of those now or not.
I have the Magic Keyboard for my 12.9. I love it. The trackpad is absolutely great. I mean, spoiler alert, this iPad Air is the exact same size as the smaller iPad Pro. So all those same accessories work, right?
Okay.
So the what do they call it? The Magic Keyboard and the Magic, or the, what do they call the other one? The keyboard full
Smart Keyboard Folio.
The Smart Keyboard Folio work, and the Magic Keyboard work. And I have the Magic Keyboard, and I love it. The trackpad support is great. The keyboard's great. I'm a little concerned. My biggest concern really is just the keyboard being a little smaller. But then again, I also don't do a lot of typing. But I do edit the podcast on an iPad, and I use the heck out of the trackpad for that. So yeah, I'm thinking this is my new iPad.
Yeah, I mean, I love that it's as powerful as it is. It has Touch ID. I don't know if it had Touch ID previously.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, the one my daughter has Touch ID. It has Touch ID on the button, just like the Mini.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be losing Face ID, but I don't think that matters.
You know what's really weird? Like I use my iPad Mini quite a bit. Like at night if I'm laying in bed and I'm watching a movie or reading something. Like I usually have been using my iPad Air for that. And I'm just so preconditioned to look at my phone to unlock it that sometimes I look at my iPad Air like, why aren't you unlocking?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, I think you're going to miss it more than you realize.
I could be. Yeah.
Or maybe that's just me. Now you're not a pencil guy, right?
I have one, but I don't use it.
Okay. I would love to try it. I don't have a pencil at the moment.
You should just borrow one of mine, not one of mine, the one I have.
Okay.
And see if you like it.
Well, since you're offering,
I've tried like giving it to both of my kids. I said like, "Hey, do you want this?" And they're like, "Nah." I'm like, "Yeah." I wish I would have. I was just so excited at the potential for using the pencil that I had to have it. And it's just sitting. It's probably out of juice. It's probably just sitting there uncharged on my little charging table behind me. Yeah. And then Apple released a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, so
a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, so I think this is a good time to talk about. I'll tell you, I did not see this coming. I thought for sure we were going to get maybe a new Mac Pro, or maybe we were going to get some new MacBook Pros or something, right? But Apple released the Mac Studio, which for all intent and purpose is basically a weird baby that a Mac Pro and a Mac Mini had.
It's the like dimensions of a Mac Mini if you stack like 2.5 of them on top of each other. It's a thick Mac Mini.
Thick boy.
Thick. But they put a shit ton of performance.
God damn, they really did. Okay, so let's. I think this is probably going to occupy like most of the discussion here, but so Apple obviously has this M1 architecture that they have been pushing for a little while now, right?
Yep.
And
yes, right.
Their big thing is, hey, this is our silicon. It's packed for performance. Our OS is built for it. It has super high performance. It has, performance cores and efficiency cores. It is a specialized architecture that our OS is designed to take advantage of. And there's still some emulation for things that can't, but yeah, it's super cool, right? And I think this is technically the third and fourth generation of the M1 because there was the original M1, right?
Right. The M1 that was in the Airs, the new Mini, and the 24-inch iMac.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they had the M1 Pro, I think, right?
Yeah, the Pro and the Max came out with the redesigned MacBook Pros.
Right.
The big difference between the two, the both of them have the 10-core CPUs. The Pro has 16 GPU cores, and the Max has 32. And the Max can have more memory,
right?
More RAM on it. Yeah,
because the interesting thing about this architecture is like the processing power, the memory, and the GPU are all sort of on the same quote unquote silicon, right? Like it's all designed to be together. So when you want more memory or you want more powerful GPU performance, like you have to sort of scale up to the M1 Max.
Right, exactly.
So with the announcement of the Studio, Apple basically said, "Hey, the M1 Max is pretty good. What if we just put two of those together?"
Yeah, they took two of the fancy M1 Max chips and they made them kiss.
Yeah, they had a beautiful M1 baby, and it's called the M1 Ultra.
Which, does it bother you that Max isn't the biggest one? Because it bothers me. Because Max literally means
maximum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess when you put it that way.
But it's not the maximum. The Ultra is the maximum.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very Apple thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to get away with it because they always get away with it.
They do.
So here's the interesting thing, right? Okay, so we'll talk more about the specs in a minute, but the Studio is a interesting little piece of technology because it's a little cube. And if you look at the differences between, so basically the Studio comes in two models. They have the M1 Max model, which comes with the 10-core CPU, 24-core GPU, and 16-core neural engine for like face recognition and the other stuff that it needs to do. 32 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage. And this is where it starts, I mean, the Ultra, right, obviously has more of everything I just said. But here's the one.
Twice as much.
Literally twice as much on all of those numbers I just said. But here's where this gets interesting. The Max, like when you look at the configuration, on the front of the thing, it has two USB-C ports, but the Ultra has two additional Thunderbolt 4 ports on the front.
Right. Yeah.
Which is weird.
There's just more. I think there's just more bandwidth.
I think that probably has to be why.
Yeah, having two. I mean, essentially having two of the M1 Max chips means you just have more throughput, more Thunderbolty goodness. Yeah. I think that has to be it, right? And they both have Thunderbolt 4 ports on the back. They both have what, 4?
Yeah, they both have 4 on the back.
On the back, and then the Ultra has 2 more on the front. Yeah, and looking at the specs, like the USB-C ports on the Max version, those support up to 10 gigabits per second. Where the Thunderbolt ports support 40 gigabits per second. So it's literally 4 times as fast. So it just has to be, they have more just bandwidth on the chip to deal with that kind of stuff. I mean, that has to be it. Again, they made two M1 Maxes kiss.
Yep.
Through Ultra Fusion, which is another great Apple-y name. But
yeah. And like I'm looking, like the link that we're going to put in the show notes is to an article on AnonTech where they talk about the architecture and how like they made these things talk to each other. And I think it's called like die interleaving or something like that.
Yeah, it's not a new concept, but I guess I guess Apple has made what it sounds like is Apple has made some sort of breakthrough on being able to take these two packages and make them talk to each other with just that much bandwidth. And I guess there's a lot of people. Okay, so let's just I'm gonna read a quote, but first I'm gonna set some expectations here. The Mac is never going to be for gaming. Apple doesn't care about gaming,
right?
Whatever. So I'm going to talk about video cards, and everyone's going to go, "Well, you can't play games on the Mac." That's not what these video cards are for. These are video cards that render these are GPUs that render animated movies and do special effects, right? That's what these things are for. I guess the really big breakthrough is like the concept of being able to scale up GPUs by having this package interleave this stuff, right? And that's something that other companies have been trying before and haven't really achieved that level of performance. So I'm going to read. I put this quote in docs because I just said it was absolutely mind-blowing. And this is from the AnonTech article we'll link. In particular, the company is touting that the M1 Ultra's GPU performance exceeds that of NVIDIA's RTX 3090, which at the moment is the single fastest video card on the market. And furthermore, they're able to do so while consuming a bit over 100 watts or 200 watts less than the RTX 3090.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing, right? As somebody who actually has a 3090, right? It is a big, chunky card. It requires a lot of cooling when you're gaming or you're really doing something like video encoding or something that you can offload to the discrete GPU, right? Now, what's interesting here is, and this article on AnonTech really lays it out, people are going to say, well, wait a minute, how can some Apple device claim to put out the same compute power as something as the 3090? And that is sort of the key phrase here, right? It is compute based, because in order to get power out of these devices, you can do two things. You can either make electricity flow through it faster with higher clock speeds, or you could just pack more transistors into it. And what Apple's done here is they've gone for the latter. And what AnonTech points out in this article is like an NVIDIA 3090, which is based on they call it a GA102 GPU. That thing has 28.3 billion transistors, which, by any metric is a lot. But they're claiming that the M1 Ultra has 114 billion transistors on it, which is just like...
That's for the whole package, but still, it's a lot. It's a lot of freaking transistors. Yeah.
Yep. But here's the thing, though. Being able to achieve that raw level of compute throughput performance at that less power draw is just amazing. And I was really having a bit of an argument with some people in some Teams channels that I work with, because I work with some people that are very not conducive to using Macs. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
And they're still sort of in denial that the M1 is a good chip. They're like, there's no way this can succeed. I'm like, this is their fourth generation. I think they would have given up by now. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, they're putting it in everything.
And have you not seen the absolute numbers? And
right.
And the fact that ever since they've announced the M1, every quarter that Apple's had for the Mac has been a record-breaking quarter.
Yeah.
And they're selling like hotcakes.
And have you ever opened your Lenovo laptop and have the screen come right on? I don't know. I don't know. It's magical. I'm
here. This is what tells me that Apple is onto something. I have two Macs that I use. The one that I'm using right now is my personal. It's a 2019 Intel it's 2019. It's got a 8-core i9 in it. Even doing nothing, it's not hot, but it's just warm on the bottom. I hold it off. The bottom is just always kind of warm. I know it's on. I have a M1 MacBook Air, which for almost everything I do on it is incredibly faster, and that thing feels like it's off all the time. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even have a fan in it.
Wow.
Like it's just no fan, and it's just it absolutely crushes everything this Intel chip can do. And like and to be honest, it was like less than half the price.
Right. And that's what's crazy, right? Because here's the other thing. Okay, let's say I was to go on here right now. I'm just gonna kind of lay this out for you. So the M1 Ultra Studio, which is the highest tier one, right, is $4,000. $3,999. That's $4,000. Okay,
with 64 gigs of RAM and a terabyte SSD,
terabyte of storage, and all that processing power. Right now, compare that to what I consider to be really the only thing you can put in that same category, and that's the Mac Pro, right? Because like this is way outperforming anything that like an iMac is going to do, right?
Oh yeah, easily.
And if you're buying the cheapest Mac Pro, that's literally another $2,000. Like it's $6,000 for the Mac Pro, and that's still based on Intel.
Yeah, and if the charts are to be believed that Apple showed, the Studio outperforms the Mac Pro considerably.
Now, yes, it does, but again, that's one of those ones where you really need to cock your head just a little bit and look at it, because I think it's like Final Cut benchmarks, right?
Yeah, they obviously pick benchmarks that work well for them.
Yeah,
right. And like, so I mean, let's be honest. Like, the single core performance on the M1 isn't gonna hit what's in those Xeons. It's just not. Now, granted, Apple has some very interesting branch predictions, so they can make single threaded code run essentially. They basically have a very large instruction cache, so they can feed a lot of instructions into the processor at once, and then they can figure out, I can run these in parallel and stuff, which is how they're able to get, they're kind of able to punch above their weight in the single core numbers, because really it's not running single core. It's trying to run that on multiple cores, but still, it's not going to, I mean, these are based off the A14 chips. I don't think these things are hitting like 4 gigahertz or, like they're not that fast. But multi-core is where they get their benefits. But yeah, and plus they sip power. It's and I mean, this is the this is still just the M1. Like, there's going to be an M2, and so on and so forth. And
it's just going to keep going.
Yeah, and Apple's already pushing. Like, I don't know, if I was Intel or AMD, I'd be taking notes, because like, I don't know. Apple's doing a pretty good job with their silicon these days.
I mean, I am due for a new computer here soon. Like, my Mac is doing just fine, right? But I'm going to be due for a computer. And in my new role, there's a better than average chance I'll be doing some more traveling. So I still might be kind of married to a laptop for the conceivable future. But man, I would love to have one of these things.
Oh, yeah. I have no business buying any of these. I do not need this much compute power, and a laptop is much more my style. But man, I don't know. This is pretty cool. I'm kind of curious to see what the Mac Pro is going to be, because obviously this is not. There's no PCI slots. You can't upgrade the RAM, right? Like, what you buy is what you get.
Well, I mean, but I have to imagine the next Mac Pro, the next Mac Pro is going to be some, like, what if we took two M1 Ultras and taped those together, right? Like,
maybe, yeah.
I can't see them sticking on Intel for that. I really can't.
No. I mean, they even said during the they said at the beginning they're going to transition all of their Macs over to Apple Silicon, and the Mac Pro is next. Now, the question is do they keep some Intel Macs available to purchase for, enterprise customers or people that really need it? Yeah, because I mean, there's still some software that just either doesn't run on Apple Silicon or runs better. I mean, you can't emulation, that's like, or running things like VMware Fusion for Windows VMs and stuff. Like that story is not quite there for the the ARM chips yet, but yeah, I know I don't need that stuff anymore. So I'm ready. I'm also kind of due for a laptop, but I'm kind of just waiting to see maybe what the M2s look like. Who knows?
Yeah. It's definitely cool. Now, let's talk about the thing that I'm most excited about.
Okay. Yeah.
To go along with the Mac Studio, Apple is releasing a new display, and it is appropriately called the Studio Display, which pour one out for poor LG. Apple is making a, for them, reasonably priced 27-inch 5K widescreen monitor.
Well, okay, so it is the exact same panel that's in the LG 5K Ultra 5.
Right. Which is a great looking monitor. A pain in the ass to use, but it's a great monitor.
It's a great panel. I'm currently looking at an LG 5K. I love this thing. It has a little bit of a forehead, which I don't like, and this gets rid of it. I want one of these, Drew.
I want one of these too. Of all the things they announced, if anything is gonna get me to give Apple money, it's probably going to be this.
I have not ordered one yet, but I'm reserving the right to in the future.
Yeah. Now let's get this out of the way right now. It's $1,600, but
with the non-adjustable stand.
With the non-adjustable stand.
Okay,
but
so I want to point out that when the LG Ultrafine 5K came out, it was $1,800.
It was $1,800, and I still think they're pushing what, $700-800.
I think they're still more than.
Hold on,
right?
I know
now.
Micro Center sells them. I think they probably have the best price on them. Let me just pull up that website real quick.
Apple is selling them for $1,300.
$1,300. Okay, so yeah.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. Well, they don't have it for sale anymore because of the other.
Well, yeah. They
okay.
Yeah. Let me pull this up real quick here. Where would it be? Mac accessories. Ooh. Hold on. Gross. That's not what I want. It's basically a bunch of. Where is it? I thought it was under Apple. Man, Micro Center changed their website around for some of these categories. Let's see here. Monitors.
Search doesn't work. Search.
What is it? Just LG. What? LG Ultra.
5K Ultra Fine.
LG 5K. How about that? LG. No, I don't see it. Let me try one more thing.
Here we go. They're currently sold out, and it's $1,300.
Okay, yeah, there it is. So it's okay. So the LG, right, which is the same resolution, is $1,300. So Apple's basically tacking $200 premium on that. But before people decry that, like, in addition to it being the 5K display, the non-adjustable stand we'll address in a minute, but it comes with a built-in 12 megapixel webcam
with center stage,
and a better mic array.
Yes,
and a whole bunch of USB-C ports on the back with one Thunderbolt 3.
Yeah, and speakers that probably don't suck as much as the LG 5K speakers do.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but so the LG 5K has one Thunderbolt port that connects to your computer to do the, it provides power and it does all the video stuff. And it's got 3 USB-C ports. I might as well just fill those ports with super glue because they just don't work.
Yeah. So I have a friend who's very mad at me because I convinced him to get an LG 5K display, and he has a requirement for many other USB things, and he has a hell of a time with multiple monitors and yeah.
No, you can't. No, they don't. They're not reliable. They'll work, but then they'll stop working, or you bring your computer out of sleep and they're like, nah, I don't want to do it. So I don't bother. I run all of my stuff through I think it's a CalDigit Thunderbolt 3 dock, and that thing works absolutely great.
Yep.
So I just pretend I don't have any ports on my monitor and use all the ports on the dock. And it's great. I mean, I love this monitor.
Yeah.
I think I would I'm not super motivated for the studio display simply because like I know I'm not going to be getting. I know I'll get a better webcam and better speakers and stuff, but like I have a pretty good setup right now. And after we talk about the stand, I'll let you know what my conundrum is, Drew.
Okay. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
By default, you get it comes with a non-adjustable stand.
Well, okay,
right?
Hold on. Not
tilt.
height.
It's
tilt adjustable. Not
tilt
height
adjustable.
Yes.
That's
the big gotcha.
Mm-hmm. For only $400 more, you can get the tilt and height adjustable stand. Or if you for the same $1,500, you can basically say no stand for me, please, and they'll put a VESA mount adapter on the back.
Which is what I would do, right? Because you can actually get a pretty good monitor arm, which I think would probably look better anyway. I don't know. That would be my plan. If I was going to do this, I would get the VESA mount adapter and I would get a monitor arm.
Yeah. So it looks like your decision on stand is permanent. It's not like you can buy the tilt and height adjustable stand and put it on later, or even the VESA mount adapter. It is a one-time. It's a one-time thing. You pick it when you purchase it, and then you're stuck with it forever.
Yep. There. It says it. It says it right on the information. Note: each stand or mount is built in. They are not interchangeable, so it's important to consider your workspace needs at the time of the purchase. Yes. Whatever you buy, that is going to be your desired configuration for the rest of this monitor's life, or yours, which one comes first.
Yeah. Either way, you ain't changing it.
Yeah. So that's going to be a big gotcha for people, I think.
So I really like the look of the tilt and height adjustable stand. I like the look of the plain stand as well. And a lot of people are complaining about the height.
Right.
A lot of things I've heard that even the height adjustable stand doesn't go high enough.
Right.
I'm an old man, Drew, and I have old man glasses. I wear progressive lenses, so they have different prescriptions at different parts of my glasses. Because of that, I have had to lower my monitor way below where I had it before. My monitor is low simply because that's where it needs to be. If I'm sitting up straight, I need to be looking down a little bit for my monitor not to be completely blurry.
Okay.
Neither of the stands go low enough for me.
Wow. Okay.
So my LG 5K is currently also on a monitor arm simply because I'm able to get that monitor arm low.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think I would also have to do the VESA mount adapter, but
Is that your conundrum?
Maybe I like the look of the stand so much. Like I feel to me like just getting it with the VESA mount is kind of just like, I don't know. It's like missing half of the experience. But I think that's what I would have to do for my particular ergonomics. I've decided I am waiting. I'm going to wait and see. I want to read the reviews. I want to watch the YouTube videos. I want to see people hook this up to Thunderbolt docks like I have and test the USB ports and make sure they work. And I want to know all the facts. And then I'm going to decide to buy one because I currently have, I'm looking at essentially the same panel, right? I have 5K at 60 hertz already, right? Like this is not a mini LED screen. This is not a high refresh rate screen. This is not an HDR screen, right? It's literally what I'm looking at right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm not I don't need this, Drew, but I want this.
Yeah, so I'm in the same boat. The one other thing to mention here is, you're perfectly capable of taking the LG today and hooking it up to a PC, provided you have a Thunderbolt port on your computer. Yes. So if you have a laptop or if you have a newer motherboard that has built-in Thunderbolt support, or you have a Thunderbolt card, an expansion card on your computer for it, it'll work. They're saying that this 27-inch studio display will work on a PC, and the webcam will work. Let's see here. They're saying that the webcam and the audio will work. But Center Stage, Spatial Audio, and Dolby Atmos require Mac OS. So you won't get every same feature, but you will get most of the things if you decide to use this on a computer. Don't do that. Buy it for a Mac.
Yeah, buy it for a Mac. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like when I saw this, I was like so happy. I was so happy. I cannot wait to. I'm with you. Like, I'm not going to order this day one, but I'm going to be very carefully watching the reviews. I also want to take a trip to the Apple Store and see it in person.
Yes.
Monitors and TVs I have to see in person. I'm sorry. Like, I could read reviews all day, but something that is defined by your eyeballs looking at it, I can't buy that sight unseen. That's just not how I work. Yeah.
Even right now, I was just looking right now. If you buy it with the tilt adjustable stand, you can get it in the beginning of April. If you get either the VESA mount or the tilt and height, the dates are slipping into May already.
Like, I guess a lot of people are going for that option. Then it has to be.
I'm sure. Yeah. Now, if this monitor had like one thing, like if it had like a half a more K or HDR or high refresh, I probably would have ordered it like immediately. Just like, yep, I want that.
So you know what's funny though, buddy? Like, one of my gaming monitors that I was using had HDR. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Like when HDR was on, like, you really had to crank the brightness. Maybe it was just this particular implementation of HDR, but it did not look good to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I've looked at the displays on like the new MacBook Pros have high HDR displays, and those look pretty nice. But then again, it's one thing to be looking at like a 14-inch screen. It's another thing to be looking at a 27-inch screen that's, beaming right in your face. So yeah, maybe it's just one of those things where like you think you want it, but you really don't. But for now, my 5K LG, and I'll just I'm going to go out and say it. A lot of I talked to a lot of people and they're like, 27 inches isn't big enough.
No, it is.
Dude, 5K at 27 inches is perfection.
It really is.
It's perfection. Not 4K. 4K at 27 inches is garbage. You have to have 5K. The text is just so crisp.
Oh man, I got 3 Dell Ultra Wides and they're all next to each other. I can have so many Excels open. I'm like, stop it. Just stop it. What's the resolution on that? 1440p? Sorry, you're poor. Like,
I got my pixels are the size of pennies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I work with a couple people that are like just super thirsty for having like 8 monitors, and they're all just garbage displays. But I have so many. I'm like, how many of those monitors can you look at once? Well, I could if I stand back. Yeah, but where are you sitting when you work?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I just joke with them that I can do more with 1 monitor than they can do with 4, and they don't like it when I say things like that.
Yeah, I'm very much have one nice monitor camp. That's what I like. I've had this LG 5K for quite some time now. I've definitely got my money out of it.
Yeah. I am a single monitor user as well. I mean, I use Spaces on the Mac. I just flip back and forth my Magic Mouse. It's wonderful. It works. Yeah, it's perfect for me. I don't need it. I don't need 2 monitors. I can just keep my eyes in one place. I don't have to tilt my head.
Yep.
It's all right there. It works great. And that's just to say, right? That's not even an Apple thing. It's just, you can also do that on a PC. I mean, the shortcuts are different, but you can do the same thing on your PC. And I would challenge anybody to go to 1 monitor. Like, you really don't need 2. I mean, I could conceivably argue that if you're a person who is constantly on video conferences or streaming, or you need a monitor to house information all the time that you don't want shared on your primary desktop, okay, I get it. But for the vast majority of people who are business users, you really only need 1.
Yeah.
And that is a hill I will absolutely die on.
Yeah. And they, where I work, when we moved to this whole remote thing, and people you basically, the office is full of, it's hoteling, right? You basically pick a cube and then you live in that cube for a day. And when they did that, they replaced all of they basically kind of unified all of the hardware, and they put in these. I mean, they're not 5K, but they put these ultra wide monitors. I think they're like 1440 by I don't know some ridiculous number because they're widescreen and they're tilted and they're Teams enabled, and like for a non-retina like Windows display, like they're fine. Like I much rather have one widescreen display than two smaller monitors side by side. Yeah, that's just me. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a better than average chance at least one of us is going to end up with one of these in a month or two.
Probably.
I mean, not me. I gotta figure out where the water goes first, and then I'll have money to blow on this stuff.
I'm not in a rush. My LG 5K, but again, if my LG 5K, even like if I saw a dead pixel, I'd be like, it's garbage. Take my money, Apple.
Yeah.
Oh.
But again, I mean, for what it is, for what LG was charging for the 5K, another $200 for this is actually, for me, good value for money. And that's a weird thing to say with Apple in the same sentence, I'll admit. But
I thought this was going to be more expensive.
Oh, it easily could have been $2,000 easily. And like their Pro XDR display is still what, $4,000, $5,000?
Five. Yeah. Hold on. I have the website open. Displays XDR, $5,000 without a stand.
Yep. So take that for what it is, right? They could have easily charged you more, but I think that $1,500 is pretty much the sweet spot for this one.
Yeah, and I'm very happy with this. It was a very surprising announcement. I'm very pleased.
Yep. All right, last topic for the night here. I need your help because somewhere in my memory banks, I feel like I don't know if we ever talked about this on the podcast. I think we talked about this outside of the podcast, but I need a new mattress.
Yeah, me too, Drew.
Really?
I think so.
But
yeah.
Okay, but hold on. Here's the reason I wanted to bring this to the podcast. I could have sworn that you and I at some point talked about you had ordered an internet mattress.
I had ordered some for my kids. They were just Amazon memory foam. The wife and I currently have like a queen size Tempur-Pedic, and it was great, but it's getting a little old, and I think it's time for something nicer and something bigger.
Well, so here's my dilemma, right? And we'll talk about our options here in a minute because I don't know how much research you've done. I mean, I'm sure you've done your research. Let's put it that way.
A little.
I've started to, but I don't know what the right answer for this is. So here's my conundrum, right? So now that I have this house, I have more bedrooms. So that means that I could have more people stay over. But in order for that to happen, I need to have more beds. So I currently own 2 beds, but 3 bed frames. So we have the bed in our bedroom. We have a Thuma frame, which I love. The Thuma frame is awesome. And we have a Stearns & Foster mattress that we invested in probably 15 years ago. It's up there, but it's a very, very nice mattress. I mean, we splurged a little bit because mattresses can be expensive. Like the gulf between what the entry level line of a mattress is and what the upper scale version of that mattress is can be thousands of dollars. We went for not the highest end, but higher end Stearns & Foster. And, we do the thing where like we rotate the mattress every few months. Like we do all of that, right? And it's held up very well. It's still a very comfortable mattress. I have absolutely no complaints. Like we're not replacing our mattress because it's falling apart or it hurts our backs or we're not sleeping well. Like that is not the issue. For us, it is upstairs. We have a full-size bed frame and we have a queen-size bed frame, but we only have one extra full-size mattress, right? So basically what we need is we need another queen mattress. So the conundrum is, do I want to get a new mattress for us and take that Stearns & Foster upstairs? Or do I just want to get a decent, not super expensive, it's only really for guest sleeping purposes, queen mattress for the upstairs and just call it a day? So that's kind of like the headspace that I'm in right now.
Got it. I mean, I'm all for, I'm in the, I live the you deserve a treat lifestyle.
Oh, sure.
So like I think I'd be for like, hey, go ahead and get yourself a new mattress and just take the old one and pass it down. Now if you're looking for something inexpensive, that for your guest bedroom, hold on, let me get you a link. This is the brand that we picked for the kids. You can get them on Amazon. It's called Signature Sleep. You can pick your various thickness of mattress how you want, and like you can get an 8-inch queen foam mattress for. I assume you want memory foam and not springs. I don't know. I'm not a spring guy.
We have springs now, and it's fine.
I love the memory foam mattresses. I don't think I could go back.
Well, what about, so I guess like I know that there's inner springs and then there's memory foam. There's also these hybrid things where it's like both. Okay, well, okay. Why is that bad? Tell me why that's bad.
I don't know. I just like the I don't like the springs. I like the memory foam. I like the way it feels. It's squishy. It's like I'm being hugged. It's actually, I mean, I think for me, actually, I know exactly when I fell in love with memory foam mattresses. I can tell you exactly, Drew. It was when Zachary was in the hospital and we were staying in the Ronald McDonald House in Cincinnati. All of their bedrooms, at least the ones we stayed in, had Tempur-Pedic memory foam mattresses in there, and that's when I was like, I'm going to sleep in one of these for the rest of my life. And we bought one. We've had it for a long time. It's held up really well. But I think we want something bigger, really, is what it comes down to. But if you're looking for if you go down the inexpensive route and you want something just for the guest room and you want to go memory foam, the Signature Sleep mattresses they're fine. They're fine. My daughter and son sleep on one every day. They're fine. They're great.
Yeah, the Tempur-Pedic ones are a little pricier, right?
Yeah. Now, what I'm and I was just looking at comparable. I'm really so Tempur-Pedic also does some really interesting stuff for like, you can get the splits and you get like the adjustable bases and you can go crazy. I want to lay down in a purple mattress. That's what I want to try, Drew.
See, okay.
Purple.
And that's where I was hoping this discussion would go, right? Because there are the quote unquote internet mattresses, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't heard a lot about purple for a while. So I don't know how you do your research. Here's how I do mine. I open up a web browser and I type best mattresses 2022. And I get deluged. I get hit in the face with everybody's marketing dicks, right? Like it's just dicks in my face. And it's just everybody has their list, right? And the sort of way I do this is I sort of do my own like random forest, like wisdom of the crowds type thing. So I basically I look at all the lists and I look for commonalities, right? And I sort of look for, products that show up on multiple lists that, at or near the top of the list. And purple's not on any of these lists. So I don't know if they've taken a nosedive in quality or they're just not as good as they used to be. I don't know.
They have a store in Easton where you can try them, I believe.
Like I could just go there and nap for a couple hours, or
like if you want to lay down on a mattress that other people have laid down on, you can go there and they have them there for you to lie down, right? Because I know myself, like if I buy an internet mattress and have it shipped to me and I don't like it, I'm lazy, Drew. I don't want to return this. That's a lot of work. But if I could lay down and try one beforehand, well, then I can make an informed decision and feel better about myself. But again, like I've really liked our Tempur-Pedic. It's a really good mattress, and now they're better, I guess. Now they have one thing that is different between like a spring mattress and a Tempur, like a memory foam, is memory foam mattresses are generally hotter. They hold heat a little bit more. Now Tempur-Pedic has what they call, the Tempur Breeze, which is supposed to be cooler. But I know I like being toasty warm. So, give me that warm hug.
So there's been some brands that I have. So obviously, right? We know about Purple because they've advertised on podcasts that we listen to.
Yep.
Tempur-Pedic is obviously one that's up there. I'm still kind of. I've been looking at 3 other ones that have sort of hit my radar. Casper is still one I hear from time to time, and they have they have hybrid and they have spring-based options. And there's this other one that sort of just shows up on a lot of these lists, either in the middle or near the top, and it's Saatva. So I don't know how to say that. It's Saatva. Saatva is apparently one that's gained a lot of traction. And again, they have a lot of hybrid ones. They do have some memory foam ones, but yeah, those are the ones I've sort of been looking at. I'm like leaning towards. So here's where my headspace is at right this minute. If I was going to get one to replace our bed, I would probably get a nicer, more expensive hybrid or foam, right? Tempur-Pedic or Casper, maybe. Or if I'm going to get just a nice mattress that my guests will be like, man, it was really good sleeping at Drew's house, I would probably get like a mid-tier Casper or Saatva or Helix.
I could see that. Yeah.
But what do you got your eye on then? Are you like going to get one, or what are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe this summer. I want to try some out. Like, I wonder, is there a place where you Casper just offers the free
field trip?
What?
Field trip? Field trip? We'll get the camera. We'll just go lay on some mattresses together.
I'm down.
All right. So we don't have Patreon sponsored content, but if we did, it would be us and our jammies visiting the mattress store.
I just bought this wonderful gimbal for iPhone, so I can record some really nice video.
Oh my God, we should totally do that. All right, I want to think on that. So we're coming up on episode 150. Maybe that's our episode 150 extravaganza. Like, we'll just go to a mattress store.
The mattress spectacular.
Spectacular. Oh my God, we're doing this. All right, we gotta think through the logistics of that. All right, we gotta end this so I can go think about it.
Okay. Hey, we're on the internet, doingtheirbest.com. You can find us on Twitter at doingbestpod. I'm on Twitter at Paul Baylor. Where can we find you, Drew?
Twitter at Pittsburgh, PITTFURG.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.